Captain Wayne Avery, who recently retired from the police department, testified that white lies are harmless. And he talked about, as an example, of him stealing ammunition one time, and when caught with the ammunition, that it was ruled okay by the person who had caught him. Lieutenant Fletcher testified in this hearing that he had never lied during the more than 30 years that he had been on the police department. And nobody believed that is true. I don't believe. Lieutenant King testified, and this is the internal affairs investigator who brought the charges against Officer Calloway. He testified under oath that he did not participate in the Schaefer investigation that got Officer Calloway 9-day suspension previous to this situation. But the testimonial challenge revealed that he did, in fact, work on that case. Chief Burns came in and he remembered exactly how many officers he had on the force, but he could not or would not say how many he had fired over the past year. That was an evasive and untrue answers. That's a violation of departmental policy. Truthfulness policy. Let's talk about this policy. Upon the orders of the chief designate, or a superior officer, supervisor, employees shall fully and truthfully answer all questions specifically directed or narrowly related to the scope of employment and operations of the department, which may be asked of them. Now watch this vague part of this rule. An employee may be disciplined for giving an untrue answer, intentionally omitting material fact, or giving evasive answers. Critique of Captain Avery's white lie. Avery stole ammunition at firing range, denied taking it when questioned about it, discovered to be lying. Yet Avery was allowed to walk away with the ammunition and brag about it in court in 2009. What lesson can be learned from this situation? Imagine the possible outcome of Avery's incident had he been Joseph B. Calloway. Charges, if stacked against him, would have been violation of rules, theft, unbecoming conduct, unsatisfactory performance, and insubordination. All professional principles of discipline were ignored or violated in Officer Joseph B. Calloway's case. An examination of stacked charges against Officer Joseph Calloway, which seemed to be conspired or trumped up to get rid of him by any means necessary. He was charged with truthfulness. He's not guilty. Nobody seemed to know what the truth is in this situation. Claims are exaggerated and investigative reports are incomplete or prejudicial. Officer Calloway's signature is forged and untrue testimony was given. Insubordination, not guilty. Defiant, not submissive to authority. Officer Calloway jumped through hoops for everybody, including Lieutenant Brazee, whose role in this situation is anybody's guess. Violation of rules, not guilty. None violated. Charge was made up by Lieutenant M. King. Unbecoming conduct, not guilty. Never happened as alleged. Charge made up by Lieutenant M. King. Criticism of supervisor, not guilty. Never happened as alleged. Charge made up by Lieutenant M. King of the Internal Affairs. Unsatisfactory performance, never happened as alleged. Charge was made up by Lieutenant M. King. Officer Joseph Calloway is in fact guilty of mistakenly talking to Tracy Brazee about departmental gossip on October 22nd, 2008. His lapse in judgment deserves being dealt with by the Chief of Police in a fair way. Since Officer Calloway is not guilty of charges that were stacked against him, why are we here? We're here because of an unfair, insensitive, and unjust attempt to ruin a self-reliant black police officer's career. The real motive is unclear, but discriminatory patterns and bad practices are crystal clear. A few examples. Some lives are white and others are Officer Calloway's kind. Next, white officers are charged as violated, while Calloway's charges are stacked. Number 3, women seem to be fired from the department for fun. Number 4, many black officers seem not to have rights that whites are bound to respect. Number 5, evidence clearly indicates that a good old boy system clique is alive and well within Macon Police Department, which is undoubtedly unfair and counterproductive. And finally, number 6, too little attention is being paid to rank and file police officers' outcries and concern. Let's talk about the officer, Joseph B. Calloway, the man and the police officer. Officer Calloway's character, integrity, and job performance. I polled a number of police officers, and I had them rate this officer on character and integrity on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being good. And then on job performance, 1 to 10, with 10 being good. A Sergeant Wolverton gave him 79. A Captain Terry Timley gave him a 10 and a 10. A Reverend Curtis Raines gave him 10 and 10. The Deputy Chief of Police gave him 7 and 7. Officer Tracy R. Stanley gave him 10 and 10. Captain Willie May gave him 8 and 9. Lieutenant Woodford gave him 8.5 and 10.